Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of season 2 of There's Something Here. I'm joined, of course, by my good friend Kevin Sheridan, otherwise known as the Mighty Rib. Ben Klein's in the back there producing, as always, amazing show. And I'm John Wilkerson here at the Arkansas Municipal League. And we are off to Sheridan today.
Yeah, but before Sheridan, let's talk about what we did this weekend.
Yeah. Kevin?
I hit up a few restaurants, as I tend to do from time to time.
He's been known to do it.
Yeah. We drove out to Benton to go check out Rober. I've been there 4 or 5 times over the last couple of years. It's just a really great upscale kind of steakhouse in Benton. It's really taken that Benton / Saline County food scene to another level. Heather Babereau, owner, does a great job with it, and there's a collection of her restaurants. You've got Revival there. You've got a second location, a Baja Grill there. So that was definitely the highlight, the food highlight of my weekend.
You've been talking about Saline County for a while now, Benton in particular.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things happening. I mean, when I first moved here 12 years ago, I might have gone there once, twice a year to eat. And now I feel like I'm out there like every other week. There's a lot of good things happening in Saline County.
Nice. Good for Central Arkansas.
Yeah.
Good for the state.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ben, what about you?
I got to check out the Southern Tales Brewing. Just opened last Monday. Me and my wife checked it out on Saturday night. It was slammed, as you can imagine, and it was really great. The aesthetic in there is so cool and relaxing. I thought the beers were great. I got the risotto balls, which is their appetizer thing. Really good, very fun experience, and I'm really excited for another kind of anchor brewery to come in that East Village area. So it'll be really cool.
It's cool. I got to see it a couple weeks ago before it opened. I talked to the owner, Tracy Kreider, super nice lady, and to your point, man, it's gorgeous inside.
Yeah.
It is just beautiful. So I'm looking forward. I'm gonna give them a couple weeks to kind of settle in and work out the kinks, but I'm excited to go check them out as well.
Yeah. Well, my family and I went and joined 40,000 other people at the Little Rock Food Truck Festival, and it was really, really good.
Yeah.
I sampled quite a bit of different things. There was a Delta Soul egg roll sort of place from Memphis that made it out there, and I had a soul egg roll, which was chicken, greens, macaroni, in an egg roll. It tastes just like it sounds, which is good. And crinkle cut fries, which I know you love, as I do too.
Big fan of crinkle cut. My wife hates them, and it almost led to a divorce.
She doesn't like crinkle cut fries.
She does not.
It's a strong stance.
And she doesn't like tater tots. Who doesn't like tater tots?
I think there's something more here. You need to dig
know.
in.
Yeah, I think there's something
Tater
here
tots.
with my marriage, right?
Yeah, tater tots.
It's a problem with fries.
Yeah. I had the best churro I've had in a long time from Tacos Godoy, which is a local food truck. And then Sadler's Alaskan Dumplings had their dumplings.
Yeah,
Slater's.
Yeah.
And then the food truck.
Yeah.
The food truck I had a burger from. The name is escaping me at the moment, but a solid burger as well.
Yeah.
And then Shelley's Fried Pies.
As we know, you like a good fried pie, and I have to ask you, how did it compare to the fried pie we had in Cabot?
Well, I have learned from you to be careful comparing fried pies. It was very different. I'll say this. It was handheld. It was ready to go. It was right there. I had the coconut and the apple, and it was fantastic. But the made-to-order fried pies in Cabot, the Peppermill, it's tough to beat those fried pies. They were really, really amazing. But the line for Shelley's was very, very long, and it was very, very good. So I had the coconut was really especially nice.
Well, that's got to be our biggest food event of the year. I mean, as far as you're talking about attendance, you got people from all around the region, different states that come in. You've got trucks from different states. It's exciting. They moved it this year, so now it's on Capitol instead of Main Street. How was it in terms of crowds? Was it pretty good?
It was. I got there at 11 when it opened on Saturday, or Sunday, and it was jam packed.
Yeah,
it was really, really great turnout. They had basketball tournaments. They had plates for the kids. This guy had these big bubble string thing where he's floating bubbles everywhere, and it was just a good time.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it a lot.
Was it as good a time as going to Sheridan, though?
I don't know. Let's get to Sheridan.
Let's get to Sheridan.
Yeah. One last thing real quick. Our friend Mayor Yeager and Leslie welcomed the birth of his granddaughter out in Hawaii. So I want to say special congratulations to Mayor Yeager from Leslie and the happy, healthy daughter and granddaughter now. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, congrats, Mayor.
Ben, before we get going into Sheridan, who is our songbird of the day?
You put me on the spot here. So this is Images by the Plain Strolls, I believe. Yeah, they're a fun little vibe there. So
they work out very well.
That's who brought us in today.
So Kevin, we go to Sheridan, which I'll just say this out loud. First of all, when I think of Sheridan, I think of South Arkansas. They have an 870 area code, so you're like, oh, that's obviously South Arkansas. But they're only 35 minutes from Little Rock, so really it is part of Central Arkansas Network. And you've been down there a lot recently as well, so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I go down there 2 or 3 times a year. I've got my food spots there that I really enjoy, and anytime I go down there, I like to add to it. And there seems to always be another place, another restaurant, or bakery or donut shop or something that adds to the mix. But I tend to hit 2 or 3 places. But it kind of hit us when we were driving and chatting on the way from Little Rock to Sheridan, and I feel like we had like a brief conversation, and suddenly we were in Sheridan and heading straight to Miltown Coffee Company. So it was really fast, and I'm friends with some people that live in Sheridan, and I know they make that drive from Sheridan into Little Rock to go out to dinner and things like that. But from the other side of things, it was just such a quick drive.
You made the comment on the way to Cabot, or about the drive to Cabot, that you're one good conversation away from getting to Cabot from here.
Yeah.
It's very similar to Sheridan.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's you and I, so that conversation I wouldn't qualify as good.
Yeah.
But let's just say it's a conversation.
It's a conversation.
It's a
for sure.
conversation.
Words were had.
Words were
There
had.
you go.
Ben, have you ever been to Sheridan?
I have not, but I'm hoping by the end of this episode I'll be
Yeah.
heading
We're going to
away.
inspire him.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's due south of Little Rock. Down, just go towards Pine Bluff, and you take a ride on 167 right off the freeway, and you're pretty much there. So we started at
Miltown Coffee Company. Owner is a friend of mine, Lacey Murray. She's been doing this for a while now. She's a true entrepreneur. She's had clothing boutiques in the past and has gone all in on Miltown over the last couple years. And she recently opened up Sugar Bake Shop, which was across the road from Miltown. And now, and as recently as like 2 weeks ago, she has closed her clothing boutique and taken Sugar and moved it into the space next to Miltown. I know that's a lot to kind of process as you're listening to this, but basically she has 2 shops under one roof now. You walk in and it's just all right in front of you. You look left and you've got coffee and sandwiches. You look to the right and you see all these wonderful baked goods. It's really nice.
And so it's right there on the left as you're coming into town. And I walked in, and you had said some nice things about the owner, Lacey Murray. And I thought, yeah, I mean, you say a lot of nice things about a lot of people, and they're always true. But I thought, she's going to be a great person. And I walk in. The first thing I noticed, by the way, is the Mighty Rib sticker, which you give out stickers to restaurants and places that you ordain or you say grace over.
Not just in Little Rock
Not
or
just-
North Little Rock.
right,
I
right.
cover some ground.
Right. So it was there. And as I was taking the picture, I could sort of see out of the corner of my eye that you were being greeted by Lacey, who I didn't know from Adam at that point. But I remember thinking, oh my goodness, it's like we're home already. I just love that vibe from her.
Boy, she has embraced that small town just niceness, and when you enter her establishment, it's cliche, but you do kind of feel like family. And when, like I said, it's this big open space now, and now it's filled with people that are just hanging out, and groups of guys playing, talking, and just friends sharing this time together, and it's very communal. And she is at the epicenter of all that because she's got like this just amazingly warm personality that just makes you feel welcomed immediately. And but personality's great, friendliness is wonderful, but at the end of the day, when you're running a restaurant or a coffee shop or a bakery, the product has to be good. And I really believe in what she's doing.
Yeah. Before I get to the baked goods, of which we sampled quite a few of, and Ben, this is for you too. I want to touch on this really quickly. You can sense that she's trying to build a community coffee shop, a place where, like you're mentioning, people can come and hang out and talk about what's happening in Sheridan and in their lives. I remember walking in, and there were 2 firefighters that were there, full regalia, so you knew they were firefighters. At another table, they're having a Bible study. Another table were I could tell they were a group. I couldn't tell what exactly they were, but you could tell that this was a community place. And Ben, you've been across the state a long time. I know having that community atmosphere is really important. Right?
You got to have a place to go. I mean, if you're trying to make a place in downtown, you got to have a place to hang out. You got to have a place to at least meet and not be in your home. I think through COVID and stuff, when we had so much virtual stuff, I think people are tired of just being at their house and getting on a Zoom call. They want to get out and they want to see someone face to face. So if you're community building, you're trying to make a spot for people to hang out, a coffee shop's a great place to start.
Yeah.
And there was a line, and you're great at taking notes, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
can
like
pull this
she
up.
said something to us that really hit home. It just was so profound.
So, like you said, she was in retail. She had a clothing boutique in several different places: Arkadelphia, Stuttgart, Benton, and Sheridan. And she said, "You can serve a community with retail." I'll say this again. I don't get this right.
Yeah.
You can serve a community with retail, but you can really serve a community through food.
Mm-hmm.
And that just hit me all the right ways.
Boy, it same as me as well. I mean, like it. That's why I do what I do. You know, like food is at the epicenter of everything, and it's what brings people together. But to have her verbalize it so succinctly, it was really a nice moment. I think for both of us, we recognized it. You pulled out your phone, started taking notes. It was great. It was really great. She gets it. And I don't want to make this the Lacey Murray episode, but we sure as heck could. I mean, we could talk about her for a full 35 minutes easy. I mean, and not only that, like when we were done and I started posting pictures on the Mighty Rib Facebook page, the comments, like I took a great picture of her with all of her treats there, and the comments were just as nice as you're gonna find. I mean, like just these wonderful anecdotes of community and about Lacey and how positive she is and how caring she is in that community, and it was such a special time for us, and I'm glad we were able to do it. I'm glad we carved out about 30 minutes to talk with her before we went and saw the mayor.
Now, real quick on the desserts itself, I got a brownie and a blueberry glazed biscuit, I believe, and then the pumpkin roll, and then the oatmeal cream pie cookies. I'm a brownie snob. You know this about me.
Yes, you are.
They were really good.
Yeah. Her
really,
stuff's
really
good. We got that cinnamon roll. We had a few things to take home, and I noshed on them for the next 2 or 3 days, which is never good for my waistline. I have a sweet tooth, and when stuff like that's sitting around the house, it's very hard for me to resist. She does a great job across the board.
So as soon as we walked in, you had mentioned that, we can't stay terribly long because we're going to meet the mayor.
Yeah.
And her words to me from that was, well, we're going to make sure that you take a vanilla latte to the mayor when you leave. And sure enough, as we were leaving, she says, "Oh, wait, I forgot the vanilla latte." So we get the vanilla latte, and that was the way we met Mayor Natton.
And I mean, does it get any more small town than that?
No.
I mean, that's just, you can't get that in any town that's over 5,000 people. I mean, that type of vibe, that type of connection, and then when we walk in the mayor's office, and you try to take full credit for bringing the coffee. That's just
like a Seinfeld episode. Yeah, the big salad.
No, you didn't do that. But
Classic John.
Yeah, classic John. But yeah, I always love when we stroll into these towns, Ben, and like the access we get because of John, and like, oh, let's go meet the mayor now, and then we sit in the mayor's office for like 20 minutes, and then we drive around town with the mayor. I mean, like this, I always love that. I never take that kind of stuff for granted.
Well, Kevin, you may be giving John a little too much credit there. I mean, you are the Mighty Rib. I mean, I think you get the pomp and circumstance when you come to town
knows,
too, right?
Yeah, everybody knows Kevin.
Come on.
Yeah.
Don't give John that much credit.
I think we should just use this podcast to stroke each other's egos. I think that's what this is about.
We all know that I'm just the guy that drives. That's what we.
Wait, isn't that what a podcast is?
That's right.
All 10 of our listeners are going to love this.
Hey, we've got like 12.
That's right.
He was
We're
one of them,
growing.
though. He had listened to the show, which I cannot tell you how great that made me feel. And so when we walk in, we sit down in his office, and you can just tell as soon as we walk down the energy that he has to be the mayor of Sheridan. And it is sincere and it is genuine, which I think the same thing. But I mean, he was all in, and it's his first term. He's fairly young. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of ideas, but he's got ideas to move the city forward, but he also very much recognizes and appreciates the past. And I love that about him.
Yeah, he's all in, and you can tell he's very passionate about his town. He's from there, and he's, we're constantly asking. The thing that you and I like to know when we go into these towns is what makes Sheridan different from Cabot or Crossett or Camden, which we're going to next. Like what is specific there, what we find typically is there is something specific about these towns. Like what are they focused on? And I think what you and I learned about Sheridan is like education is at the epicenter of just about everything what they're doing. They really value their school system there, and a lot is directly attributed to their schooling.
Yeah, the school system being so great is something I picked up on, not just from Mayor Natton, who talked about it, but you read the Wikipedia article about Sheridan, and they talk about how great the school system is, and the largest employer in Sheridan is the school system. Lacey was talking about how she, uses that school crowd because they come in before the high school starts, and those high schoolers get their caffeine, and it's a big town during the day because of all the students. Because the Sheridan students are not just living in Sheridan; they're living in East End. Some of them are living out in Pulaski County, and of course a lot of Grant County, and it's like at least 19,000 people are in Sheridan during the day.
Yeah, I forget the term he used, but basically it's a day town. I mean, it's a dry county, so that definitely affects what's happening at night there in terms of population, people coming in and out in the restaurant business, for example. But it is a busy day town, and a lot of that they have. I think they technically have a school that's not even within their town. They were telling
the new
us.
middle school.
Yeah,
Right.
so there's a lot of people coming through there, and it kind of supports why I go there 2 or 3 times a year because I always feel like a really good energy from a food standpoint when I go into Sheridan, and there's cool things there. They have a really nice town's kind of square area, and lots of nice shops. The mayor was telling us they do a farmer's market on Saturday mornings, which I didn't even know about. I'm kind of ashamed to admit that. They've got a World War II museum there.
The Grant County Museum.
Yeah, so there's some things going on.
Yeah. So it was, when talking with Mayor Natton, you could tell that they were very focused on building a great life for those that live there. And they focused on community center and the walking trails and the baseball fields, and just so much about Sheridan was built around making life for Sheridanites, maybe is the right word. Sheridaners. Sheridanians. Yeah. Making their lives great. And you could sense that. And again, back to, he wants to move the city forward, but respects the past. He's trying very hard to make sure that everybody's on the same page and on the same wavelength to make that town even better, make that city even better. And it was great. And he had his friend with him, Alden.
Alden, they gave us a little tour of the town, and they ended up driving us through the fields, like the facility. There's baseball field, there's soccer field, softball, and community. There was a community garden, a beautiful pickleball court.
Oh yeah,
there's even a place where you can fish right there. So it's all right there if you want to make a day like a Saturday afternoon of it. He told us about how they put in lights recently because there's a lot of like soccer games at night. That's big for the community because most people want their Saturdays back, so they can probably go to the farmer's market, So, there's some things going on there that you can tell they're really trying to make it appealing for residents and future residents.
Now, the big event that had just happened there was the Whitehall versus Sheridan football game.
Yes.
Sheridan won, and I remember looking up, doing some sort of background research on Sheridan and hearing about the football game, and the school district sent out a Facebook message saying, these are logistical issues with it, and it was a big deal. And going back to the school system, they have a new football coach and a new athletic director, I believe, and football, the school, it's just the centerpiece of Sheridan, I've learned.
Yeah, not just a football coach either. You got, Kevin Kelly's there.
Right.
He's the famous no punt coach and had a lot of state championships at PA and a little stint in college, and now he's back in Sheridan.
Yeah, I mean, a huge name in the sports realm in this city or in this state, and I imagine a guy like Coach Kelly is not only is about winning, but he's going to help put that town on the map. You got people that are now following Sheridan that have never been following Sheridan because of him. He's intriguing. He was the winningest coach in this state's history, probably. Then he goes off to college, like Ben said, and now he's back and he's in Sheridan. And the rivalry between Sheridan and Whitehall. I mean, that's just going to escalate even more. I think Whitehall's coach is also from Little Rock. I think he came from Little Rock Christian, if I'm not mistaken. So that rivalry is about to get even more intense, which is going to put more focus on the town. So. yeah, there's some exciting things going on in Sheridan, and again, like it's not that far from Little Rock, and you can make a day of it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
The mayor said that a former state senator, and I've forgotten the name he used, but had described Sheridan as the jewel of the South. And it's about the school system. I keep going back to the school system. But you could tell that was their big thing. They loved the school system. But back to food. After the mayor took us on a drive around town, we stopped at Uncle Henrys BBQ, which you've known about for a long time.
Yeah, it's one of those places that I haven't been to. So this was the first time I'd been to for lunch, and it's one that I've been wanting to go to for years. But it's just, there's so many places like that on my to-do list, and for whatever reason, you miss a few of them. And it was really nice to finally go to this treasure of Sheridan, and I thought we had a really fun lunch. It's another thing about when you walk into restaurants with mayors of towns like that, they can't just walk in, order, walk to their table. I mean, it's like a 20-minute ordeal of them stopping and talking, and that's always fun to see too.
It really is, and I can tell there's a police officer there as well, and I can tell when I walk in with the mayor, it's a different vibe. People look at us differently, like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
And I had just come from a meeting, so I had a dress shirt on and some nice pants. But so Ben, to you, barbecue. You're at barbecue. What's your go-to barbecue meat that you're getting at the place?
I'm gonna peruse it a little bit. I think I'm always a sucker for some good ribs. If I can, I find myself, if I'm unsure, my safe play is generally like a pulled pork sandwich or pulled chicken, something like that.
You are such an Arkansan.
That's a safe play for me.
Such an Arkansan.
Now, have you ever heard of a smoked cheeseburger?
I've never heard of a smoked cheeseburger.
I don't think that I have either, but Uncle Henry's had one.
Yeah, they're rare.
Yeah,
they
Kevin
are rare.
got one.
And I every now and then I'll find it, and if it's on the menu, I'm ordering it. I even had to ask the cashier twice. I'm like, "It is a smoked cheeseburger, right?" And she's like, "Yes, it is." And so they're usually thicker. This was a thinner patty, which was good, but if I'm being completely honest, I like them a little thicker because it ends up tasting like a smoky meatloaf. When it's that thick. So
gotcha.
I'm on board with that. But this was a thinner patty. It really picked up that smoky flavor. That's what happens. It gets smoked just like anything else in the smoker, and it just that smoky flavor just sucks into the meat. And I liked it. I let you try it. You had the sliced brisket. I liked that potato salad you had, and the beans with like jalapenos in it. Those were really
Cowboy
good.
Beans, yeah.
Yeah, the cowboy beans.
Yeah, those are I've learned lately the sides at lunches with you have been really on point. Not that the protein is not good, but the sides have been great. And that potato salad was fantastic.
Well, did you notice what I did as soon as we were standing in line? First thing I did was ask the cashier, "What sides would you order?"
Yes, you did.
That's important because what I have found is there are sides that are not good. I'm not saying that about Uncle Henry's. I'm talking about it just in general.
Right.
When you go to a lot of these restaurants, there are some sides they just mail it in. They don't really care about it. It's coming out of a can. But if you ask the workers, they're going to usually give you a straight answer. And she told us that potato salad and those beans are the way to go.
Yeah.
We did the same thing when we were in Cabot not too long ago. What was the restaurant? Cheryl's Diner, where we asked about the sides and they gave us, but that's something I tend to do because I've gotten burned too many times that I've learned from my mistakes.
Well, speaking of being looked at, not weirdly, people don't look at us like we're strangers, but they look at us like, oh, what are they doing with the mayor? We don't know these cats. One thing I want to ask you about, I'm going to say it for the podcast, when we share food, because you cut your burger in half and give me half of it, and then you're fairly regularly reaching over into my plate and taking meat or the side.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, obviously, but sometimes I look around and think, oh,
I'm getting some Lady and the Tramp imagery here.
Yes,
you guys
as you
can,
should.
We haven't yet done spaghetti.
I think we should make Ben come with us to our next town
I need to see
share in this embarrassment. That I'm glad you bring it up, kind of. I wish it would have been off air, but here we are. I'm awkward, and I take things for granted. Like, I feel like this is the way people should eat. Like,
I do too.
I'm a food blogger, and this is the way I eat. I cut my stuff in half so we can all share it. But
I totally agree.
I get your point. If I was watching us, I'd be like, Those are two grown men, and that's a little strange.
Well, but we did it in front of Mary. Speaking of Mary Yeager and Leslie, we did that in about the cakes, or I forgot where we were. We were sharing something, and then
I feel awful now.
by the time we got to cakes, he was in it too. We're
Yeah.
all like, yes, we're all family now.
Yeah, you jump in.
Heck yeah,
You jump
I'm all for it. By the way, I have
Yeah.
not gotten any strange looks because of it, but I'm also like, huh.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's so normal to me.
I'm not changing the way we do things.
Well,
by the
now
way.
I'm thinking about it.
No, don't think
No,
about
you
it.
guys need to link arms and trade spoons, and it'll be great.
That's it. Ben's coming.
I do
next
think
time.
we need to stop sitting on the same side of the booth all the time. I'm kidding. We don't do that.
Yes. In fact, that is a big pet peeve of mine. I hate same side booth sitters. Hate it. I think. Let's not get it. We can do a whole.
Wait, you didn't
show
like
on that.
licorice last time, and now you're okay.
Same side
All right.
booth sitters freak me out.
I did try it once years ago, and it was tough for me to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so yeah, Uncle Henry's is great. The owner was a former Vietnam veteran who had given it up to his kids, I think, recently, and you could tell it was a family affair. by those
Yeah,
that
they were
there.
moving around that restaurant, and everyone knew everyone, and it was our food came out fast. I mean, it was a good, quick lunch.
Yeah.
Every now and then you kind of worry about it because a lot of times when we go to these towns, we got to get back to Little Rock at a certain time, so sometimes we're a little crunch for time. And I thought they did a great job with the service.
I think the ambiance of the place too. It felt like a barbecue shack. And, it wasn't like they had all this stuff on the wall that was just they picked up at Hobby Lobby. They
Yeah.
had like legitimate stuff that were reflective of their family or reflective of Sheridan. And you got to go. You could tell that they had their own personality and they were showing it through the decor of the restaurant. It was really neat.
Yeah, cool place, and I'm glad I finally got there and we were able to enjoy it. And I would definitely go back on my next trip. One place that I wanted to take you, we just didn't have time. It's one of the, if not the most iconic spots in Sheridan is the Jackrabbit or not Jackrabbit, the
Yellow
other
Jacket?
Yellow Jacket. I get them
Yeah.
confused. There's a Jackrabbit Dairy Bar as well, but not in Sheridan. But the Yellow Jacket Dairy Bar is just this iconic place for a dairy bar burger or some crinkle cut fries, maybe even tater tots, just shakes. We passed it, but we just didn't have enough time to stop there.
Yeah, there are a lot of places like Joe's, Ladybird.
Ladybird, we didn't get a
known.
chance, but we did run by my friend. Well, you've met Joey too. He's got the
Yeah.
Prime Fresh Market in Whitehall, and he's got a second location in Sheridan. And he's a guy. When I'm in either of those two towns, I make sure to stop at his butcher shop. There, he does a great job. He has a hot bar throughout the day that you can go order lunch. But on that day, I got some dry aged flank steak, which was really good. I grilled that this weekend.
I was about to ask, yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, do you have a butcher?
I don't have a butcher.
I don't either, but
We don't really have
Right.
a butcher shop in Little Rock. I've been telling Joey, I'm like, man, we need you here in Little Rock. We've got hogs across the river in North Little Rock for more of your kind of local butcher spot. But in terms of like a real old school butcher shop, I think the closest we have to it is that Edwards on Cantrell, Mississippi.
yeah, the food giant.
Yeah, but still, I'd love a local butcher. That'd be great.
Yeah, I agree. So we're done with Uncle Henry's. The mayor takes us on a little bit more of the town and takes us around the bypass and past local or Prime Fresh, and we end the day at City Hall. Say our goodbyes to the mayor. Then we go to the butcher shop, and I'm really excited for what Sheridan has coming forward in the next 10 years. We asked the mayor this question, your question, which is where do you see the town in 10 years? And he said double its population growth.
Without hesitation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be honest with you, they've got a super center, they've got Sonic, Taco Bell, they've got these local restaurants. They're primed for success, and they're not that far away from Little Rock or Malvern or Whitehall or Pine Bluff. They're right there in that little pocket, as they described it. And I feel like a lot of good things are going to come
Yeah,
from
it's a
Sheridan.
bold statement on his part, but one that we were like, yeah, we could see that happening.
Ben, for you personally, one thing, a shout out to Valerie Shively as well, but
Yeah.
Call to Serve, which is the Winter Conference logo, motto.
Yes.
He mentioned that to me because Valerie had just sent out an email highlighting Winter Conference is coming up January, I think
15th to the 17th.
15th to the 17th. So if you haven't signed up. And our motto is called to serve. And he said, apropos of nothing, He said, I just got this email from Valerie. And he said, I love that motto because I feel like I too have been called to serve.
Man, they hit it right on the head. That's what we were going for, because so much with these small towns, and it's not just, they're not doing it for the money, because it's not, most of these times they're part-time positions. They're, it's almost volunteer. And so it's a calling, and we kind of felt that, and we wanted to really celebrate that with our winter conference, and sounds like it's a hit with Kane. So that means it's a win in my book.
Speaking of doing something, not doing something for the money, I mean, this podcast, this is a labor of love. Ben, I want to give a shout out to Ben.
Please.
What his work that he is doing behind the scenes. Look at this studio, y'all. We just transitioned to video last month. Now look, we've got our own studio. This is all thanks to Ben. Look at all the art from different towns. If you're a town watching this and we're going to come see you, if you want something put on our wall, we're going to keep adding to it. So kudos to you, Ben. You are the backbone of this podcast. I cannot thank you enough.
Oh, well, thanks, guys.
100% agree.
Yeah, and, to piggyback on what you said, Kevin, if you see something on the wall, if you see something from a town rival, then send us some stuff, and we'll stick it up there. We need pennants. We need pictures. Little, I want to fill the walls with cool stuff.
I think we're halfway there already. At least, actually, we're all the way there.
We're going to keep filling it up. You're not even going to see an inch of walls.
Well, I found all this
nothing.
stuff by touring the office in 5 minutes. There was some extra pictures there. You've got Don Zimmerman over your right shoulder there, John. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
May have robbed my office a little bit for some decoration.
Well, this is great, and I echo everything that Kevin said. You've been remarkable, Ben. We really look forward to many more years of this. Well, with that, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Kevin, as always. Had a great time in Sheridan. Looking forward to going back, and our next travels will take us to Camden, I believe. And so with that, thank you all for listening, and we promise you, like every time we do this, there's something here. Take care, everybody.